Alright, here we are on the Uss Cobia. We are going down below deck. As you can see in here, this is the pressure hull. This is the actual pressure hull of the submarine. What you see on top is really just normal deck. The most of the submarine is this little tube that runs beneath us here. It is the actual pressure hull, aka that's the actual vessel. So that pretty much sums that up. Oh god. Okay. As I said, make sure the door is closed behind you, which is what I'm gonna do. Watch my step. Because again, the submarine is pretty much ours for the day. So in that case, I am going to seal it a bit. We're gonna come down here. All the stuff is house built, cut into the actual pressure hull, which you can see that metal part is the rest of the pressure hull compared to most of the boat. We come down here and this into the forward torpedo room. So on board the Cobia, on Galley class fleet boats, most more modern fleet boats, they had 6 torpedo tubes in this bow. They had 4 in the stern, and they would have the crew up here preparing them. And for most of the maintenance crew that worked in the torpedo rooms, they have these bunks for the crew to sleep in 8-hour shifts intervals. Each person would get 1 bunk. Then after 8 hours, they'd roll out, another person would roll in. They'd take turns. These torpedoes are real torpedoes, by the way, which is somewhat scary. These are real torpedoes, but these are training torpedoes. These are not actual live warhead torpedoes. Indicatable by a icon at the top where you can see 3 lights. 3 different little bumps at the top. Except, coming up wrong. Okay, yeah, these are also trainings. I think the one down there is a replica warhead. But these other torpedoes themselves, these are actual real torpedoes. These are not fake, these are real torpedoes. I'm not going to show you the toilet, because who wants to look at the toilet? Mirror. Trying to find our first camera so I can wave hi to him. Is there even one of the 4 torpedo room? Okay, this area over here is for the sonar operators. They would turn that crank, that green crank, and rotate the sonar up above on top of the deck. These 2 pylons are also sonars. These are sounding sonars meant for the sounding for the depth of the ocean. It's not allowed to say little shit. Trying to make sure I find the first camera so I can be aware of where we got. Now moving forward is the officers' quarters and galley. This is where the captain's galley, the commanding officers, XO's office galley here, the officer's bunk. This is for the XO. And this, we have another part of the officers' quarters. This room over here is another officer's quarters. And this is the captain's quarters. Captain Baker is the actual commander of the submarine after its retirement. He is the actual submarine commander, Captain Becker. All this stuff is still here. This is all his real belongings, and it's still up for good reasons. Another officer's quarters. At the back, you have the cartographers, the guy responsible for keeping notes about everything happening with boat. You have all your other stuff. Don't really know. Emergency lights, hatches. I'm not supposed to step up for a second. God dang it. This is the command room, command center. So this is pretty much the beating heart of the submarine. Everything in here is pretty much where it all happens. Everything that from down to the T happens here. I can hear the clock ticking because the clocks actually work. The boat has power. Where's the camera? There's cameras aboard the sub, but I don't remember what he said about cameras. And what he simply said is, don't touch anything. I can touch the dive alarm, not too much, but I'm allowed to touch it, which I am actually happy about that. So you have your dive planes controls, you have your vent controls, which are responsible for closing off the boat from seawater to allow the boat to submerge without flooding anything. You have your rudder indicator. Oh, there's part of the security camera system. I just see it now. I see it now. Part of it, but that's not the camera. Yeah, rudder indicator. The speed, your telegraphs, your sounder, depth sounding. Down here is your pump room for most of your pumps, except for over here. These are your main ballast control vents. They have the knobs off for good reasons too, and I'm actually happy that they do that. Again, submarines, lots of valves, lots of crap that I don't know about, and I'm not going to figure out because again, you're not allowed to do that. Don't idea what it is. Again, big red button just saying push me. Don't put the temptations of pushing things. Bears down your mind. It's really not fun. Ain't fun because you gotta worry about it. That's the radio room. The radio room. Oh, I haven't showed you guys back this way. I haven't showed you guys back over this way because back here is the radar. The radar and sonar secondaries. These, by the way, the command center are secondaries. Up here is the conning tower. I am not allowed to go up there, of course, because again, dangerous. Like, gosh, I wanted to go up there and look at the periscope, but not able to do that, sadly. But yeah, here's your current depth. A little stuck. Clock is working, which is surprising. There's the camera. There you are. I was wondering where you were. I knew there's a camera in each compartment, but they're so hidden, which again is the point. Cameras are supposed to be hidden. You don't want people to know you're being watched. Technically, well, you're supposed to tell them that you're being watched, but you don't want people to, well, find where the camera is because they don't want to feel like they're being watched. But again, you are being watched. Yes, security cameras, and for good reasons. You have your galley, the cook, responsible for making all the meals for the sailors. Your dish sinks. You have your galley. The rest of your galley. This is where you eat. And beneath here is compartments for the batteries, which again, not allowed to go down there. Again, I wouldn't want to either. You have these tables all can be folded up, folded away if you needed this room for other things. And this very table is where the gunner on the 20 mil was. He died here. He literally died right here on this table. Also, there's the second camera. That's a mic on there, isn't there, right? It looks like a mic. Okay. Because, yeah, camera over there. These pictures are of each of the crew. These are all the crew aboard the boat during her patrol. She served in 3 or 4 patrols. I don't remember. Whatever the movie said. So, yeah. You had lots to do with. Down here is, of course, like a restaurant. You have your industrial fridge and freezer. Your potato stacks are down here. And canned foods. I think it is fake because it didn't last. You have your potato hatch. This is where they lower the food products down to the cooks. Never told me about that. That's a waste. That's probably a waste suit. This is where I'm gonna be sleeping, which is the reason it's dark. This is the crew quarters. There's a lot of bunks in here because, again, you had a large crew, very large crew, of 80 men, more than 80 men in here at once. So yeah, quite full. You have your showers. Next side is also the head. And funny enough is what I've learned is all the crew, anyone in the forward torpedo rooms, had to run all the way back here, use this head. There was only literally 2 heads in here. The ones behind behind this area back here. There's 2 heads, and literally for people to use the restroom, they literally had to take turns or go out on deck and do it. Forward engine room. Got 2 diesel engines. These engines, by the way, are fully operational, which is the thing about this boat. It's rare to see any submarines actually being pretty much wartime ready, almost, like as close as you're gonna get for an old boat like this, but it is pretty much fully operational. These forward engines start, that engine starts, this engine over here does not start because it's destroyed. But again, 3 out of the 4 engines will run on this boat, and they start them regularly. So yeah. Over there is a water purifier, which is, again, a pleasure for the crews aboard these submarines. They had fresh water on demand instead of having to ration off everything. But again, as you realize, having 80 people on this small boat like this wasn't fun. 80 people going down there. Which again, we're walking over a little thing. That don't look good at all. That's not pretty. That's pretty worn out. But yeah, here's your water purifiers. You have your signals. Each compartment had a carbon monoxide reader because it had batteries aboard that would actually cause carbon monoxide poisoning. And the batteries were very explosive. They could blow up. Second camera. Hi. Hey, man. Here's your more port compartment areas. Aft engine room. Relatively the same to forward, except it doesn't have the water purifiers. Whoop. Stepping on that. Oops, don't want to step there. So yeah, 2 engines, 2 more engines back here, stern engines. And then you have, that's the engine right here. That's the one that's the blown head. Engine heads. Here's the pistons right here for these engines. Here's your next camera up there. Each compartment, again, has 1 camera. Here's your, that is a good representation of the piston. Again, this was your machine shop as well. You'd have to fix everything here in these rooms for the engines, right on the spot. There's nowhere to go with them. Tight compartments. Very claustrophobic space. If you're claustrophobic, sub is not for you. For reasons. Now this is one of the reasons right here. This is the electric generator room and workshop. There's a lathe for working for metal for shaving. These in here are your electric generators, which run off your batteries. And again, it's claustrophobic here because you have only this tiny space. You have to actually shimmy through here, which you're not worried about that high electricity because, again, nothing to worry about here. This here is the main controls. I can't touch them. That's been touched by someone. This down here is more to your electric generators and other stuff. You have your, these are for your stern tube. These are some of the firing solutions for your stern tubes. Wait a minute. Battery levels, your phones. This is the other camera. I saw it somewhere. Oh, it's back there, right. Kinda wanna say hi, wave hi to every camera go past. Last compartment, stern torpedo tube. Stern torpedo room. Had your this is one of the torpedo officers' his office right here, and this is the room where you have the last 4 of your torpedo tubes and 4 more torpedoes aboard this boat. There's the camera. Where's the camera? There it is. We find the camera every time. This is your forward hatch, not an escape hatch. This is just a deck hatch. This over here is the originally the torpedo loading hatch. This would open up, let the torpedoes be lowered down here to the torpedo room, where they load them back here. I showed you forward in one of the other videos that the forward torpedo room has the same torpedo loading hatch, and they're brought down here. These racks come out. They're brought around along the racks, stowed. You have the bunks for the aft torpedo room crew. They'd be loaded up and the torpedoes fired. Down on that, you can barely see it from the camera, but there's a projection of the Uss Cobia insignia way down in the tunnel of the torpedo tube. So that's pretty much it with that. This is the Uss Cobia, and this is my home for the next few hours. So anyways, thank you guys so much for seeing this, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.